The Galactic Conference. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, amidst swirling nebula and glittering star clusters, the Galactic Confederation had called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered in the grand amphitheater of Station Harmony, a colossal space station that served as neutral ground for interstellar diplomacy. The chamber buzzed with a cacophony of alien languages, translators working overtime to keep up with the heated discussions. At the center of it all stood High Counselor Zixnera, a towering crystalline being from the silicon-based life forms of Altair Prime. Her faceted body glimmered under the soft light of the chamber as she raised her arms, calling for silence. Esteemed delegates, Zixnera's melodious voice resonated through the hall. We face an unprecedented situation. The species known as humans from the planet Earth have achieved faster than light travel and are requesting membership in our confederation. A chorus of murmurs rippled through the assembly. Earth, or Deathworld, as it was colloquially known, had long been a subject of fascination and fear among the galactic community. Its extreme environmental conditions and the adaptability of its dominant species had earned it a reputation as one of the most dangerous planets in known space. Ambassador Krilks of the methane-breathing Jovians burbled through his respirator. Preposterous. These humans are barely out of their gravity well, and they dare to seek a place among us. I concur, chittered XRXR, the insectoid representative of the hive minds of Betelgeuse. Their history is rife with conflict and destruction. They would bring chaos to our carefully balanced order. As the debate raged on, a small, unassuming figure made its way to the central podium. Dr. Ilara Chen, Earth's first ambassador to the stars, stood barely 5 feet tall, her silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. Yet, as she began to speak, her presence seemed to fill the entire chamber. Respected members of the Galactic Confederation, Ilara's voice was calm but carried an undercurrent of steel. I stand before you not to demand, but to request. Humanity has indeed had a turbulent past, but it is precisely this adversity that has forged us into who we are today. She paused, her eyes scanning the sea of alien faces before her. We come not as conquerors, but as explorers and potential allies. Our adaptability, our creativity, our indomitable spirit. These are not threats, but assets we wish to contribute to the greater galactic community. As Ilara spoke, holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showcasing Earth's achievements, from the first steps on their moon to the terraforming of Mars, from the eradication of numerous diseases to the development of sustainable fusion energy. We have faced extinction-level events and survived. We have turned our war-making capabilities into tools for space exploration. We have learned from our mistakes and strive to be better. Ilara continued, her voice gaining strength. Yes, we come from a death world, but that has only made us value life more fiercely. The chamber had fallen silent, all eyes fixed on the small human who dared to challenge their preconceptions. Even the most skeptical delegates found themselves considering her words. High Counselor Zixnera's crystalline form shimmered thoughtfully. Your words are compelling, Ambassador Chen. But words alone are not enough. The Confederation requires proof of your species' ability to coexist peacefully with others vastly different from yourselves. Ilara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. We anticipated such concerns, High Counselor. That is why we propose a probationary period. Allow a delegation of humans to live and work alongside members of the Confederation. Let our actions speak louder than our words. The proposal sent another wave of murmurs through the assembly. It was unprecedented, bold, and potentially dangerous. Yet it also offered a controlled way to assess humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship. After hours of heated debate, a consensus was reached. Earth would be granted a 1-year probationary period. A mixed crew of humans and aliens would be assembled to serve on a Confederation peacekeeping vessel, the Stellar Horizon. As the session adjourned, Ilara found herself surrounded by curious delegates, bombarding her with questions about Earth and its inhabitants. She answered each query patiently, her diplomatic training put to the ultimate test. Unbeknownst to the assembled galactic leaders, this decision would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the Confederation and force them to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about the species from Deathworld. As Ilara prepared to return to Earth with news of the probationary agreement, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much greater adventure. Humanity had taken its first step onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. Humans joined the fray. 6 months after the Galactic Conference, the stellar horizon hummed with activity as it prepared for its maiden voyage. The sleek, silver vessel was a marvel of Confederation engineering, designed to accommodate diverse life forms and serve as a symbol of interstellar cooperation. Captain Zora Vega stood on the bridge, her dark eyes taking in the bustle of final preparations. At 35, she was young for such a command, but her record in Earth's Space Force was impeccable. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Commander Jack O'Neill, approached with a datapad. "Final crew manifest, Captain," Jack said, his Irish lilt adding warmth to his words. "We've got quite the menagerie on board." Zara scrolled through the list, nodding. "Good. Diversity is key to this mission's success. How are our non-human crew members settling in?" Before Jack could answer, a commotion erupted near the airlock. A booming voice echoed through the corridors, followed by the sound of metal clanging against metal. "Oh," Jack muttered. "Sounds like our Kraxan engineer is at it again." They rushed to the source of the disturbance to find Grex, a hulking, four-armed being with metallic skin, engaged in a heated argument with Dr. Ayala Suma, the ship's xenobiologist. "Your fragile human equipment cannot withstand the power of Kraxan engineering," Grex bellowed, waving the modified plasma cutter dangerously close to Ayala's head. Ayala, a petite woman with vibrant blue hair, stood her ground. "And your improvements will fry every circuit on this deck. We agreed on the specifications, Grex." Zara stepped between them, her presence commanding instant attention. "At ease, both of you. This is exactly the kind of conflict we're here to resolve. Grex, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we need to stick to approved modifications. Dr. Suma, perhaps you could work with Grex to find a compromise that enhances our systems without compromising safety." Both the Kraxan and the human deflated slightly, muttering agreements. As they walked away, already discussing potential solutions, Jack leaned in to whisper, "Nice diffusing, Captain. Think we'll survive a year of this?" Zara smiled wryly. "We better. The fate of human-alien relations depends on it." As the days turned into weeks, the crew of the Stellar Horizon settled into an uneasy rhythm. Misunderstandings and cultural clashes were frequent, but so were moments of surprising camaraderie. In the mess hall, Chef Xlorxax, a gelatinous being from Epsilon Eridani, delighted in experimenting with cuisine from across the galaxy. His attempts at recreating Earth dishes often resulted in interesting interpretations. "What exactly is this supposed to be?" Lieutenant Kira Chen asked, poking at a wobbling, iridescent mass on her plate. Xlorxax's body rippled with excitement. "It's my version of your Earth delicacy. Pizza. I used Andromedan fungal spores for the base and Venusian lava worms for that extra kick." Kira exchanged a glance with Ensign Malik Edinuba, who shrugged and took a brave bite. His eyes widened in surprise. "It's actually not bad. Tastes a bit like spicy shrimp pizza." These small moments of cultural exchange and adaptation became the backbone of the mission. The humans learned to navigate the complex social hierarchies of the hive mind crew members, while the aliens gradually became accustomed to human emotions and idioms. However, not all interactions were as harmonious. During a routine patrol near the disputed Zeta Reticuli sector, the Stellar Horizon encountered a damaged freighter sending out distress signals. "Life signs are faint, but present," reported Sensor Officer Telark, her antennae twitching with concentration. "The ship's registry is unclear. Captain Vega made a split-second decision. Prepare a rescue team. O'Neill, you're with me. Dr. Suma, we might need your expertise if there are injured aliens aboard. As they boarded the freighter, the away team was met with a scene of destruction. Scorch marks lined the corridors, and the air was thick with acrid smoke. What could have done this? Ayala wondered aloud, her scanner beeping urgently as they approached the bridge. The answer came in a terrifying form. As the doors hissed open, they found themselves face to face with a group of Vexnar pirates, a notoriously violent species known for their brutal raids. Well, the lead Vexnar sneered, his razor-sharp teeth glinting in the emergency lights. Looks like we've caught ourselves some Confederation do-gooders. And humans, his eyes narrowed dangerously. I've heard interesting things about your kind. Zara's hand inched towards her weapon, but she knew they were outnumbered. We responded to a distress call. We have no quarrel with you. The Vexnar captain laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the human spines. No quarrel. Your very existence is an affront to the natural order. Soft, weak creatures from a death trap of a planet, daring to play in the cosmic sandbox. What happened next would go down in the annals of Confederation history. As the Vexnar moved to attack, the humans sprang into action with a coordination and ferocity that stunned their alien companions. O'Neill tackled the nearest pirate, using techniques honed in Irish pub brawls to surprising effect against the much larger alien. Ayala, her scientific calm giving way to survival instinct, improvised a makeshift stun grenade from her medical kit, disorienting a group of advancing Vexnar. But it was Captain Vega who truly demonstrated why humans from a death world were a force to be reckoned with. Moving with lightning speed, she disarmed the Vexnar leader and used his own weapon against his crew, all while shouting orders to her team and the stellar horizon for backup. In a matter of minutes, the skirmish was over. The Vexnar pirates were subdued, and the true crew of the freighter, a group of peaceful Arcturian merchants, were freed from the cargo hold where they'd been imprisoned. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Zara became aware of the stunned silence around her. The Arcturians stared at the humans with a mixture of awe and fear, while Telarc's antennae were practically tied in knots from shock. "Captain," O'Neill said quietly, nursing a bruised jaw, "I think we might have just complicated our mission." Zara nodded grimly. They had revealed a side of humanity that the Confederation was both fascinated by and deeply wary of. As reports of the incident spread across subspace channels, she knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The humans had proven their worth in battle, but could they now prove that this strength could be tempered with wisdom and restraint? The fate of Earth's acceptance into the galactic community hung in the balance, and the crew of the Stellar Horizon found themselves at the center of a diplomatic storm that would reshape the future of interstellar relations. The incident at Nebula's edge. The news of the Stellar Horizon's encounter with the Vexnar pirates spread through the Galactic Confederation like wildfire. Subspace channels buzzed with speculation and debate about the humans' actions. While many praised their bravery and effectiveness in handling the dangerous situation, others viewed the display of combat prowess with growing unease. Captain Zara Vega found herself in the uncomfortable position of defending her crew's actions while trying to maintain the delicate balance of the mission. As the Stellar Horizon docked at Starbase Epsilon for resupply and debriefing, she prepared for what promised to be a grueling meeting with Confederation officials. "You understand the gravity of the situation, don't you, Captain Vega?" High Counselor Zixnera's holographic form shimmered in the conference room. Her crystalline features were set in a mask of concern. Zora nodded, her posture rigid. "We responded to a distress call and neutralized a threat, Counselor. My crew acted within Confederation guidelines." Ambassador Krulix's methane-filled environment sphere pulsed an agitated green. "Guidelines? You displayed a level of violence that many species find disturbing. The Vexnar may be pirates, but they are still sentient beings." "With all due respect, Ambassador," Lieutenant Commander O'Neill interjected, his voice tight with barely contained frustration. Those sentient beings were about to slaughter us and their captives. We used appropriate force to subdue them. The debate raged on, with various Confederation representatives expressing their concerns about humanity's potential for violence. It was only the impassioned testimony of the rescued Arcturian merchants that prevented serious sanctions against the Stellar Horizons crew. As they left the meeting, Zara felt the weight of scrutiny pressing down on her. "We're on thin ice, Jack," she murmured to O'Neill. "One more incident like this, and Earth's hopes of joining the Confederation are finished." Little did they know that their resolve would be tested sooner than anyone expected. 2 weeks later, the Stellar Horizon was patrolling the outer edges of the Crab Nebula when they received an urgent transmission from Confederation Command. A scientific outpost on the small planetoid Kepler X9 had gone dark, and the Stellar Horizon was the closest ship available to investigate. As they approached the planetoid, an eerie silence filled the bridge. The swirling gases of the nebula cast an otherworldly glow on the ship's view screens, adding to the sense of foreboding. "Scan complete, Captain," T-Lark reported, her antennae twitching nervously. "I'm detecting multiple life signs, but there's something odd about the readings." Dr. Suma leaned over the sensor display, her brow furrowed. "These patterns, they're unlike anything I've seen before. It's as if the life signs are mutating." Captain Vega made a quick decision. "We need eyes on the ground. O'Neill, assemble an away team. Full biohazard protocols. I want Dr. Suma and Grex with you." As the away team materialized on the planetoid surface, they were met with a scene of chaos. The research facility's doors had been ripped open, and an eerie, pulsating growth covered parts of the structure. "By the cosmic egg," Grex muttered, all 4 of his arms clutching various scanning devices. "This organic matter, it's not native to this planetoid." They cautiously made their way inside, the beam of their lights revealing overturned furniture and signs of a desperate struggle. Suddenly, a blood-curdling shriek echoed through the corridors, followed by the sound of rapidly approaching footsteps. A figure burst around the corner, one of the station's scientists, but horribly transformed. Tentacles writhed where arms should have been, and its eyes glowed with an unnatural bioluminescent light. "Containment breach," O'Neill shouted, raising his weapon. "Fall back." But retreat wasn't an option. More mutated creatures emerged from the shadows, some still recognizable as the outpost's personnel, others twisted beyond recognition. What followed was a harrowing battle for survival. The away team fought desperately, trying to subdue the creatures without causing fatal harm, aware that these were victims rather than aggressors. Dr. Suma worked feverishly to analyze the mutation, searching for a way to reverse its effects, while Grex used his engineering skills to rig up makeshift containment fields. O'Neill found himself face to face with the lead researcher, now a monstrous amalgamation of human and alien flesh. As the creature lunged at him, Jack made a split-second decision. Instead of firing, he ducked and rolled, using a neural disruptor to stun the beast. "Jack," Ayala called out, "I've isolated the mutagenic agent. It's a highly aggressive nanovirus, but it has a critical weakness. Extreme cold will deactivate it." With this knowledge, the team formulated a desperate plan. They would vent the facility's cryogenic coolant throughout the complex, dropping the temperature to levels that would neutralize the virus without killing its victims. As Grex worked to override the station's environmental controls, O'Neill and Suma led the mutated crew members into a central chamber. It was a dangerous gambit, requiring split-second timing and nerves of steel. "Now, Grex," O'Neill shouted as the last creature stumbled into the trap. A blast of supercooled air flooded the chamber. The away team, protected by their insulated suits, watched in astonishment as the mutations began to recede. Within minutes, the scientists were returned to their normal forms, confused and traumatized, but alive. As the situation stabilized and medical teams from the Stellar Horizon beamed down to assist, Captain Vega received an urgent communication from Confederation Command. The news was troubling. The nanovirus was of Vexnar origin, a biological weapon they had been developing in secret. The implications were staggering. Not only had the humans once again demonstrated their ability to handle extreme situations, but they had also uncovered a plot that threatened the entire Confederation. As the stellar horizon departed Kepler X9, its cargo hold filled with recovering scientists and crucial evidence of Vexnar bioweapons research, Captain Vega knew that they were heading into a political firestorm that would determine the fate of human-alien relations for generations to come. The crew of the stellar horizon had saved lives and prevented a catastrophe, but at what cost? As they journeyed back to Confederation space, tension filled the air. They had acted decisively and effectively, but would the Galactic Confederation see their actions as heroism or further proof that humans were too dangerous to be trusted? The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of the galactic order and force both humans and aliens to confront their deepest fears and prejudices. Diplomatic fallout. The stellar horizon's return to Confederation space was met with a mixture of relief, admiration, and trepidation. News of their encounter on Kepler X9 had spread rapidly, and the ship was immediately ordered to dock at the massive space station known as the Nexus, the heart of Confederation politics and diplomacy. As Captain Zara Vega and her senior staff disembarked, they were greeted by a phalanx of security officers and a visibly agitated Ambassador Krillix. Captain Vega, the Jovian diplomat, burbled through his respirator. "Your presence is required immediately in the High Council chamber. The fate of your mission, and potentially of human-alien relations, hangs in the balance." The council chamber was a cacophony of raised voices and conflicting opinions when Zara and her team entered. High Counselor Zixnera's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained energy as she called for order. Silence. Her resonant voice cut through the din. "We are here to discuss the actions of the Stellar Horizon crew and their implications for galactic security." Zara stepped forward, her chin held high. "High Counselor, esteemed members of the Council, we acted in accordance with our mission parameters. We saved lives and uncovered a threat that endangers not just humanity, but all species in the Confederation." The insectoid representative chittered loudly. "You uncovered this threat through actions that many find deeply disturbing. The level of violence displayed in your encounter with the Vexnar, and now this incident on Kepler X9. It only confirms our worst fears about your species." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but they were cut short by an unexpected voice. "If I may, Counsel," Dr. Ayala Suma stepped forward, her blue hair a stark contrast to the sea of alien faces. "What you call violence, we call survival. The ability to adapt and overcome extreme situations is not a flaw. It's a strength that could benefit the entire Confederation." Her words sparked a new round of debate. Some council members argued for the immediate suspension of the Human Integration Program, while others saw the value in humanity's unique abilities. As the arguments raged on, Lieutenant Commander O'Neill leaned in to whisper to Zora, "Captain, I think it's time we played our trump card." Zora nodded grimly. She had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but they were out of options. She raised her voice to address the council once more. "Esteemed delegates, there's something you need to see." She nodded to Grex, who activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. The image that appeared caused a collective gasp. It showed detailed schematics of the Vexnar bioweapon, along with intelligence reports suggesting a planned large-scale attack on key Confederation worlds. "This information was decoded from data we recovered on Kepler X9, Zara explained. "The Vexnar aren't just pirates. They're planning a war that could destabilize the entire galaxy." The chamber erupted into chaos. Species that had been at each other's throats moments ago were now huddled together, discussing the implications of this revelation. High Counselor Zixnera's form shimmered with agitation as she processed the information. "If this is true," she said slowly, Then we face a threat unlike any the Confederation has encountered before. But how can we trust this information? How do we know this isn't some human ploy to gain our favor? It was at this moment that an unexpected ally stepped forward. The Arcturian merchant captain they had rescued from the Vexnar pirates months ago requested to address the council. "I have seen the humans in action." The Arcturian's melodious voice rang out. "They fought not for glory or conquest, but to protect those who could not protect themselves. In all my cycles of trading across the stars, I have never encountered a species with such a unique combination of strength and compassion." This testimony, coming from a respected member of the galactic community, seemed to sway many of the undecided council members. However, the debate was far from over. Ambassador Krillix's environment sphere pulsed an agitated red. "Even if we accept this information as true, it doesn't change the fact that humans are inherently dangerous. Their very presence could provoke the Vexnar into action." Or, countered Captain Vega, seizing the moment, "our presence could be exactly what the Confederation needs to face this threat. You fear our capacity for violence. Then let us direct it against those who truly threaten galactic peace." A tense silence fell over the chamber as the council members contemplated her words. The fate of humanity's place in the galactic community hung in the balance. After what seemed like an eternity, High Counselor Zixnera spoke. "We find ourselves at a crossroads. The threat posed by the Vexnar cannot be ignored, but neither can the concerns about humanity's nature." She paused, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's light. "Therefore, we propose a test, a final mission that will determine once and for all humanity's place among the stars." Zara felt a mix of relief and apprehension wash over her. "What is the nature of this mission, High Counselor?" Zixnera's voice was solemn as she replied. "You and your crew will lead a joint task force to neutralize the Vexnar threat. But remember this, how you accomplish this mission is as important as its success. Show us that humanity can be a force for peace as well as a weapon of war." As the council session adjourned, Zara and her team huddled together, the weight of their responsibility pressing down on them. They had been given a chance, perhaps their last, to prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. "Well," O'Neill said, breaking the tense silence, "no pressure or anything. We just have to save the galaxy and prove we're not bloodthirsty monsters while we're at it." Dr. Suma managed a wry smile. "Just another day at the office for the crew of the Stellar Horizon, right?" As they made their way back to their ship, preparing for the most important mission of their lives, Captain Zora Vega felt a strange mix of emotions: fear, excitement, determination, and underneath it all, a burning desire to prove that humanity's strength could be a force for good in the universe. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the entire Galactic Confederation. As the Stellar Horizon prepared to embark on its final, crucial mission, the crew knew that the eyes of 1,000 worlds were upon them. It was time to show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. Humanity's redemption. The Stellar Horizon led a fleet of Confederation ships through the swirling eddies of deep space, their destination a remote sector where Vexnar activity had been detected. Captain Zara Vega stood on the bridge, her posture rigid with tension. This wasn't just a mission, it was humanity's final exam. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the pressure. Lieutenant Commander O'Neill responded from his station. "All systems nominal, Captain. The fleet is in formation and awaiting our signal." Dr. Suma chimed in. "Biosensors are at maximum sensitivity. If the Vexnar deploy their virus, we'll detect it." Zara nodded, her dark eyes scanning the starfield before them. "Remember, people, we're not here for revenge or glory. Our goal is to neutralize the threat with minimal loss of life, on both sides." As if on cue, the ship's sensors blared to life. T-Lark's antennae quivered as she reported. "Multiple Vexnar signatures detected, Captain. They're attacking a civilian transport." Zara's mind raced. This was it. Their actions in the next few moments would define humanity in the eyes of the Confederation. "On screen," she ordered. The view screen flickered to life, showing a harrowing scene. A passenger liner, its hull breached in multiple places, limped through space as 3 Vexnar warships circled it like predators. "They're using the civilian ship as a shield," Grex growled, his metallic skin reflecting the red alert lights. "Cowards." Zara took a deep breath, formulating a plan. "Hail the Vexnar flagship," she commanded. The reptilian face of the Vexnar commander appeared on screen, his eyes narrowing at the sight of humans. "So, the Confederation sends its pet Deathworlders to do its dirty work," he sneered. "This is Captain Zara Vega of the Stellar Horizon." Zara's voice was calm but firm. "Stand down and release the civilian vessel. We know about your bioweapon. This ends today." The Vexnar commander's laugh was chilling. "You understand nothing, human. The weak deserve to fall before the strong. It is the way of the universe." As he spoke, Zara noticed O'Neill discreetly working at his console. She kept the Vexnar commander talking, buying time. "And who decides who's weak or strong? Your actions threaten the stability of the entire galaxy. A galaxy that has grown soft and complacent." The Vexnar spat. "Our weapon will usher in a new era of strength." And his tirade was cut short as the view screen suddenly split, showing the interior of the civilian transport. O'Neill had managed to hack into their communication system. The scene was heart-wrenching. Families huddled together, children crying, beings of various species supporting injured companions. Their fear was palpable, even through the screen. Zara seized the moment. "Is this your vision of strength?" she demanded, her voice rising with controlled passion. "Terrorizing innocents, unleashing a plague that doesn't distinguish between combatants and civilians." She could see the doubt flicker in the eyes of some Vexnar bridge crew. Pressing her advantage, Zara continued, "You call us Deathworlders, but we've learned that true strength lies in protecting others, in fostering life rather than destroying it." The Vexnar commander snarled, reaching for a control panel. "Enough of this sentimentality. Deploying the virus now will rid us of you all." "Now, Grex," Zara shouted. In that instant, several things happened at once. Grex activated a specially designed electromagnetic pulse, temporarily disabling the Vexnar ship's weapon systems. Simultaneously, Dr. Suma unleashed a countermeasure she had developed, a harmless but visually alarming gas that mimicked the initial stages of the Vexnar's own bioweapon. Panic erupted on the Vexnar bridge as crew members believed they'd been exposed to their own virus. In the confusion, O'Neill led a series of precision strikes that disabled the Vexnar ship's engines, while Confederation forces moved in to rescue the civilian transport. Within minutes, the battle was over. The Vexnar, faced with the apparent failure of their ultimate weapon and the united front of the Confederation fleet, surrendered. As Confederation peacekeepers boarded the Vexnar ships, Zara turned to her crew. "Well done, everyone. But our job's not finished." Over the next several hours, the crew of the Stellar Horizon coordinated rescue efforts for the civilian transport, provided medical aid to injured Vexnar crew members, and secured the bioweapon research for destruction. When they finally returned to Confederation space, they were met not with suspicion, but with cheers and accolades. The High Council convened an emergency session to review the mission's outcome. High Counselor Zixnera's crystalline form seemed to glow with approval as she addressed the assembly. "Captain Vega and the crew of the Stellar Horizon have demonstrated that humanity's strength can indeed be a force for good in our galaxy. They neutralized a grave threat not through brute force, but through ingenuity, compassion, and a commitment to preserving life." Ambassador Krillix, his environment sphere a peaceful blue, spoke next. "I must admit, I had my doubts about humans. But today they have shown us that the very adaptability we feared can be our greatest asset in facing the unknown challenges of the universe." One by one, Representatives from various worlds stood to voice their support for humanity's full inclusion in the Galactic Confederation. Even XRXR, once one of their harshest critics, chittered his approval. As the Council voted unanimously to accept Earth as a full member of the Confederation, Zara felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She turned to her crew, human and alien alike, and saw in their eyes the same pride and hope she felt. "You know," O'Neill said with a grin, "I think we might have just changed the course of galactic history." Dr. Suma laughed, her blue hair shimmering under the council chamber's lights. "Just another day at the office for the crew of the Stellar Horizon, right?" As they made their way back to their ship, preparing for their next mission, this time as full members of the Galactic Confederation, Captain Zora Vega felt a sense of profound optimism. They had proven that humanity's place was among the stars, not as conquerors or mere survivors, but as partners in building a better future for all sentient beings. The Stellar Horizon's journey had only just begun, and with it, a new chapter in the story of humanity and its role in the vast, wondrous tapestry of the universe.